Hey. Yo, 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 yo.
So dumb.
This music puts me in some sort
everybody.
of mood.
Oh, some sort of I don't know how I feel about it still. It's all right. It's working for what we have going.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of your favorite sisters podcast. Almost done. This is the Sispatch with myself, Bevin.
And Jasmine, who is me, myself, and I.
Jess.
Jess.
So we have some.
Jess.
First, I just want to start by saying we have a couple new listeners from my Twitch live streams. I want to get a quick shout out to Kuya Joey and Jer. They listened to. Joey's been listening like to all of the episodes that he's able to. He has not listened to our longest episode, which Jer has listened to, which is our Thomas episode.
Arguably one of our favorite episodes so far.
Yeah, it's very long, but I thought it was very entertaining and I loved it. So
yeah.
Shout out to you guys for listening. Shout out to mom and dad, always listening and reminding us that we need to film new episodes.
Yeah, my mom and dad be posting all the time. Like, new episode, they post it to their stories.
I know. My mom never even posts anything on Instagram, but every Friday she's posting the link, or at least the visual to the Spotify page. So
we got to get her on the pod one day.
One day, yeah. I think she'll enjoy that. Maybe when we're all together, we can record one together.
Yeah, I'll have to bring all my setup too. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and my other microphone.
Yeah,
because I've got a new half setup here.
Oh, that's right. She was so jealous of this beautiful Shure microphone, not sponsored, that she went and got the same exact setup. And it's mainly because she has PTSD, because in Thomas's episode, it was connected to her headphone mic and not her actual mic. And she's like, I hate this so much.
Yeah. Well, honestly, also, ever since we started this pod, we've sort of been in like, when we first started, it was like, we're not in a permanent setup because we were together. Mm-hmm. And then I came here and I had a different mic. But then my setup, like where I'm seated now, the microphone was really far and I'm kind of lazy. So I don't want to keep sitting up the whole time. So I'm like, I need something.
She doesn't want to have to do good posture. She wants to recline and relax.
Yeah. And here I am. I have the boom mic, a new microphone. So it sounds a little bit more uniform, hopefully. And
yeah.
Welcome to the setup. Now we just need like some cool lights or something.
You have the cool lights in your room. I just have the one spotlight, which, by the way, sorry if you see peeling. If you're watching on YouTube or on Spotify and you see our face, I am peeling because I went to my esthetician friend and she gave me an acne pill. So I look like I have a sunburn. But you know what? I got baby smooth skin now.
No, it doesn't
Hopefully
look bad.
My camera's like blurring it a little bit. Thank you. Shout out to Mia.
Shout out to Mia. Can I also have one? Can my face also feel like a baby's butt?
It's amazing. Okay, hold on. First off, I do want to do like a new segment. We haven't really had any structure to our podcast, but I do want to do like a quick segment for our intro of like what our current obsession is. Like what's giving us life. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Go ahead. You go first.
Okay. So what's giving me life right now? I got back into romantasy and I started the Kindred Curse saga, and it's so good. I finished the first book last night at 12:30 in the morning. So good. I have not been obsessed with the book since Crescent City. So if you're into romantasy and you're kind of in like, what is it called? A reading slump, highly suggest you pick up the Kindred Curse saga. The first book is called Spark of the Everflame. It's a 4-book series. The last book comes out on the 31st of July of 2024. So pick it up if you...
I didn't even know that romantasy was a word.
Romantasy? Yeah.
I mean...
Fantasy and romance.
Yeah. I mean, I got the gist of it. I just didn't know that that's what people called it.
I mean, I think it's typically called like fantasy, but like, let's be honest, it's part of the romance. That's why... They say if like you started off with like Harry Potter or the Hunger Games and then you went to like Twilight, this is going to be your jam, which like I only really got into the Hunger Games. So.
Well, we weren't even allowed to watch or read Harry Potter. So that's
I read Harry Potter. Sorry, Mom and Dad. It was so good. Actually, I only read like the first couple of books. I didn't ever like read the whole series. Then the movie started coming out and I just kind of watched the movies instead. But that's a whole different thing.
I still haven't even watched all of the movies. I think I started them and then I just haven't had time to finish them all.
Yeah. It got serious real quick with Harry Potter, I felt like. With like the storyline, which is fine.
I mean, I'll have to keep you posted on whether or not that is what I think.
But the Hunger Games, I was all about the Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, I absolutely loved.
Yes. So that's my current obsession. What about you?
Current obsession.
Maybe obsession is the wrong word. Like what, but what's giving you life right now? Like what are you enjoying?
It's not something new, but it's something that I still like. And it's because I'm a creature of habit and I've been ordering bibimbap like every day.
Bibimbap stuff.
I had it for dinner last night and I was craving like Korean food before, but like I don't when you just get in the mode of your head, like I just need to eat that one thing over and over and over and over again. And that's currently where I'm at. So bibimbap is where it's at.
Yum. So yummy.
Does that count?
Yeah, that counts.
You know,
I had another thing that I was obsessed with, but I don't. Oh, I do remember. Go ahead. I'll finish after though.
Well,
the video game called No Man's Sky, so fun to play, and I'm like barely at the surface. I put 22 hours in this game already. I'm barely scratching the surface. It's so fun, so cozy, and they just released an update today with like a bunch of stuff. So excited to play. They are also releasing a game called Light No Fire, which is like a similar open world game, but it's going to be set in like a fantasy realm instead of like sci-fi space. So I'm really looking forward to that because you can ride dragons and whatnot.
Because you can ride dragons.
So
Let that be the priority.
That's my spiel.
The minimum. Yes. Well, I'm glad that you like that.
So bibimbap for you. Once again, bibimbap. Food for you. And video games.
It's true. It's true. I can't get enough. And I was gonna say this earlier, but I have yet to find a place that matches the bibimbap as the place that we used to get bibimbap from. Yeah. It's. So I've come close here in this town, but not nearly as good.
What sets it apart? Is it the over easy egg, or how they present it, or like why is it just a nostalgic thing for you?
So there's like two kinds of bibimbap. There's the hot stone, which is I believe they call it like dolsot bibimbap, and then just a regular one that you get. And we used to get it in the hot stone, and they have that here also. But I think the difference and maybe the most make it or break it for me part of it is the meat that they put in it. I don't know, like it wasn't like ground beef where we used to get it, but it wasn't tough. Like I would always just like literally inhale the meat. But
yeah,
you know
just
me,
melts in your mouth.
I'm one that like doesn't like the fat or cartilage part of like meat. So a lot of the cuts that they use anywhere else, I've been like, this is not great. But the one that I had yesterday is a close second. But it's just not good. It. And I had it to go, so I didn't get it in the hot.
Yeah, the hot. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, interesting.
I'm hungry.
So that's our first session about our current recommendations and obsessions. So
yeah, well, if you don't know what bibimbap is basically rice, vegetables, and meat in a hot stone, and you mix it. I didn't clarify.
Can't forget the egg. Can't forget the egg.
Well, I mean, I used to not like egg yolk, but now I'm like, okay, whatever.
We'll put that in our poll. Have you ever had hot bibimbap before? Yes or no?
I mean, hopefully it's hot.
Also, by the way, I asked for cottage cheese recipes in our comments. We got 0 cottage cheese recipes.
Because no one has cottage cheese recipes.
I
like no one's gonna be like
hype right now. You sent me a video. You're like, oh, I guess cottage cheese like is a thing, and it really is all over social media. So I'm surprised nobody was like on the cottage cheese train. Maybe they're not Taylor Swift fans. That's why.
Maybe.
Oh well,
but it's okay. I mean, the polls aren't required, but it's still something that we enjoy to look at when we have time and we're able to respond. Jess.
Okay, so you want to go ahead and introduce what we're going to be talking about today?
Today, we are going to be talking about something pretty relevant, prevalent,
Mhm.
is that the right word? To the
Yeah.
title of our podcast, which is Sister Things. Sister, sister,
Sisters.
sister.
Sisters.
We are going to be talking all things sisters today. I guess all
Yeah.
things. Just a
Yeah.
bunch of random
Or
stuff.
siblings. I mean, it doesn't even have to be sibling or like sisters, but like just sibling things.
Yeah. Oh, whatever that noise was in the back sounded
It's the
terrifying.
door. It is the door. Our door is very old and very loud. If you see shadows, it's my auntie. She's cleaning for us today. So
Shout out to Auntie.
shout out to auntie. Okay, so did you have a question you want to start with?
We can start with the one that was given to us.
Okay.
And the question is, what did you think that the other sibling was going to be or person they were going to be when they got older? Does that make sense?
Shout out to Joey. He's the one that asked this question.
Joey.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when growing up, even now, like you're very creative and like artistically talented, like naturally, like you're just good at like art, like creative stuff.
Stop
But
it.
but I will say the one thing that I was like, okay, there was actually two things. The one thing that I was like, she's really good at this, and if she like dug deep, she could get like excellent at it and like go to school for this. And like I felt like it would like
I'm
bring you so
scared.
much joy. Was dance. You were such a good dance. I don't see you dancing a lot anymore, but it's not just like,
You know.
like crunk ocho ocho dance. No, it's like the like freestyle dancing. I don't know. You were so good
Oh
at
my
it.
gosh. No, I was actually thinking about the other day. I was just like, I used to think I was so good at dancing.
You were really good
But
at
like
it.
I look back at it now and I'm like, I probably was not good at dancing.
You
I
were
literally
good
was
when you
thinking
were
about
not
that.
overthinking. If you were just like dancing, like I remember you would go in the garage and you just like dance for like hours.
Yeah, I mean, it was a phase at that point too, but
Mm.
I mean, like I said, I didn't really think that I was. Now I'm like, I don't think I was that great of a dancer. I think the difference is I picked up dances quickly. Did I
Yeah.
look the greatest? Maybe not. Did I have all the technique? No,
I thought,
but
well, okay, I suck at dancing, so I'm like, she's amazing. Like, she could be a professional dancer,
well,
backup dancer.
I had the coordination. You didn't have the
Yeah,
coordination.
yeah, that's
But
so
like I said,
true.
I wasn't such a good dancer. I wouldn't put it in that way, but I think I picked things up
Hmm.
quick and I
You're a good
executed it
student. Yeah,
correctly.
yeah, yeah.
But that was I literally was thinking about that like in the shower the other day. I was like, remember when I used to dance?
I was a dancer. I'm gonna go to
I was a
Juilliard.
dancer. I'm working
Okay.
late
So
because
the
I'm a
second thing,
dancer.
and I still tell you this till this day, and I feel like you could do it. My auntie right here. I feel like you could do it, and you told me why you don't want to do it, and I respect the reason why you don't want to do it. I
Mm.
thought you could be like a chef. Like you're so good at cooking. You just know what flavors go well and like what elevates foods. And once again, cooking is something I don't do or I'm not good at. So maybe that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, she's amazing at cooking. Um, and all you literally do is like you just put the ramen in the skillet and then it's good. Like little things. I'm like, oh my gosh, mind blown. But you had told me that you don't want to do like cooking, like like any like you're really good at like baking and just like cooking
Mm.
in general. But you told me that like you don't want to do it because it's something that brings you joy. And then like if you get into that profession, like you don't want it to like hog down like the joy that it brings you because it'd
Yeah.
be more of like work instead of just like something you do because you like to do it.
Yeah. It's I think cooking is one of my favorite things in the world, and I think at this point in my life it's a little bit different. Like when I was home and with you guys, I had the accessibility to cook whenever I
Mhm.
wanted, and I do have that opportunity here still, but it's just a little bit different in my living situation. But
Yeah.
I always thought that like in my head I was just like, you know what I'm good at? It's not even just cooking. I'm just good cooking for people. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So does if
Well,
I'm
that's one of your
cooking,
love languages is giving,
yeah.
giving to other people.
Yeah, and I never thought
Acts
about
of
that.
service, yeah.
But I definitely I definitely love to cook and I would want to cook more, but it's just a matter of also that it's really hard. As people want to say like, oh, becoming a pop star is difficult, like the industry is really hard. So is so is culinary.
Mhm.
Like you have to have the schooling in some ways and you have to have the experience and it's just as difficult as any other profession that you could come across. But I think in my head, I just like cooking for fun because it's like I like the satisfaction of literally seeing someone eat my food and being like, "Yeah,
Yeah, I
they
know. You're
liked
like that
it."
with Thomas, like when you make your chicken Alfredo pizza, like I know like it just brings you so much joy because you know he like loves that whenever you
Yeah.
make it.
Ironically, I don't know if I've told you this before. I have like a new notebook that I write down things that bring me joy, small,
Mhm.
big, whatever it is, and I'll write things down that I'm thinking of, and my goals and my thoughts in this list is that I want to strive to obtain those moments and that moment of
Mm.
happiness and joy. So, and one of them is cooking something and watch someone enjoy it and like know that they actually like
Not
it.
creepy at all. You're like,
No, like it's just
eat my food.
no, not like that. It's just more of like I want to cook something and if you like it, like that makes me happy.
I want to watch you.
I want to watch you eat it. Eat my food. I want to see you open your mouth. No, not like that. But
Yeah,
like
so
even with
those
the
are
boys,
oh, yeah, I know.
when
They
I make
love.
like the simplest things and they're like, "Oh my god, it's so good." I'm
You're the
like, "It's literally
best.
pasta."
You're the best. I know. This is so good. This is the best day ever.
I know. I'm so strong.
So that's my two things that I thought like that you would get into. Yeah, your turn.
Honestly, I was trying to think about it as you were answering, and I don't think I think you'll have more insight to that question than I would as a younger sibling because
Mm.
as a younger sibling looking up to you, I always just assumed whatever you were going to want to do, you were going to do it. You
Mm.
never really shared like your goals with me, especially later on, like in your teenage years.
Yeah, we didn't get
But like
along
when
like
we were,
that.
yeah, when we were younger, like it was like, oh, you wanted to be a teacher, or
Mhm.
you were more open to being like, I don't know, like mom would ask you when we're like
Mhm.
cleaning, what do you want to be when you get older? What can
Yeah.
and you're like, I don't know, teacher, like, and that's all I
So
really got.
okay, so yeah, growing up, I never like we kind of talked about it in some of our episodes how like what I really loved to do was like tinker with like graphic design and stuff, but it really wasn't a thing back then. So when I was thinking they start asking you like in middle school kind of like thinking about what you want to do when you get older, there was so many things even up to when I was in a community college. I was like, I'm going to be a teacher. No, I'm going to be a school counselor. No, I want to be an archaeologist. I was all over the place. But it's because like what I really love to do, um, graphic design and like program management and that stuff, it just wasn't something that was like
Yeah.
mainstream. So they didn't
Mhm.
even when you would take like the career assessment test, like you would never come up with that kind of stuff.
I got
So
one that
yeah,
was like TV show host, and I was like, "Yeah,
you could
like
do
that's
it.
ever gonna happen."
You're charismatic enough, I think, that you could have done that.
Well, just because I could do it doesn't mean that it was gonna happen. And I was like, "I am not Oprah."
I
That's
even
all I
looked
remember
into like
thinking.
becoming a meteorologist. Just I had no idea what I was going to do. But yeah, I could see why it's a little bit different as like a younger sibling cuz like you look up to your older sibling and you're like they can do whatever they want to do and
Yeah.
like they've got it
Yeah.
all together and like they're going to just figure it out. And that just kind of like
Yeah.
probably is what you thought was going to happen. Yes.
Oh my goodness. That is so cute. For our listeners out there, the little baby you heard is my sister's youngest, and he said, "Are you almost done?"
He wants to go to grandma and grandpa's house, but he has to wait.
He'll go soon.
Okay, yeah. So you didn't have any idea what I was.
I didn't.
You didn't know what
No.
brought me joy except for Thomas.
Napping, not going anywhere.
But that kind of brings me into like our next thing, which is like I was not the best older sister for like at all. And I've told this story. I told this story on my stream before, my live stream. Lots of our family friends and our family know this story. So I'm just going to share it because everybody's always thinking, like, I'm so nice and, like, helpful. They think I'm a really great big sister, honestly. Like, first impressions, they think, like, "Oh, like, you're so nice. Like, you must have been,
I
like,
mean,
a
you
great
are.
sister." But this story wraps it up, our relationship in a nutshell, I feel like. So we
Yeah.
went to a summer camp, and it was, like, the first summer camp that was, like, in a location that was very far from our parents. Usually, it's, like, an
Mhm.
hour or 2 from where we live. That year that we had went, it was, like, 4 to 6 hours, I think, from
Mhm.
where we live. And there was no signal. This was a time before, like, good, like, signal and, like, cell phones and stuff. So the
I didn't
only
even
way
have a
we
cell
could
phone.
yeah, the only way we could contact home was a payphone that worked sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, so what happened was, I think it was, like, the 2nd day of this camp. Might have even been the 1st day of the camp, I don't know. But you came up to me you're okay with me sharing this, right?
I feel yeah,
Let's end the stigma here, okay?
I'm totally fine with it. It's there's you're gonna tell your side, I'll tell my side.
Okay. So she comes up to me and she's like, "Sis," and I'm like, "What?" Like, "Oh my gosh, here she comes again," like, exasperated, right? Like, "Oh, my little sister's bugging me. I'm hanging out with, like, my friends, like, don't bother me." That's the attitude. She didn't even say anything. She just comes up to me and is like, "Sister," and I'm already, like, rolling my eyes. And she goes, "I need help." And I'm like, "What do you need help with? What possibly do you need help with right now? Like, leave me alone." And she goes, "I I started my period." First time she started her period. She
Ever.
hasn't had any spotting or anything. Her first time starting her period ever, you know? And now looking back, like, that as a woman, that's something you should, like, be, like, protective over, not protective over, but, like, wrap your wings around somebody and, like, be like, "It's fine, like, let me walk you through it. This is normal. This, like, don't worry about it." What did I tell her? Ugh, go find a pad and just put it on or something. I didn't give her a pad. I didn't tell her where to get Oh my god, this is gonna be a thing. No, go sit down and watch TV. I told her, "Go find a pad and just put it in your underwear or something," and she's like, "Okay," and just walks away, and that was it. Like, I did not care. I didn't even call home to let my mom know or, like, try to call mom. Maybe I was like, "Maybe you should just call mom or something," but, like, it's a payphone. Nobody
No.
had change. But that's what I remember.
No.
I'm the most horrible sister. I that whenever somebody is like, "Did you and your sister get along?" I'm like, "No, I was the worst big sister," and I give that example because, like, what an opportunity I had to, like, be a big sister to you, and I was just like, "Nope."
Forget you.
Yeah.
So, that story is accurate, but there's more to it that I don't think you remember. Maybe because you were such a bad sister, but
I literally didn't care. I was like, "Go find somebody else. Go ask your counselor." Like
no, what you don't remember is I actually had started my period for the first time at home, which was, like, the Saturday before, because we
Oh,
would
I
leave
didn't
on a
know that.
Monday.
I didn't know that.
And I remember thought I was dying because I had gone on one of our uncle's motorcycles for the first time, and I thought, like, maybe I was, like, dying because, like, I don't know, there's a pothole and I, like, injured myself. But I went to the restroom, and I remember it so vividly, like, thinking the first thing, and this might be, like, TMI, but, like, whatever at this point. Like, I remember looking at dark blood and almost just like, "Did I just poop my pants?" Sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I remember calling, and mom wasn't home at the time, and you were the only one there, and you were outside of the door. And I said, "What do I do?" And you said, "Just use a pad." And I was just like, "What's a pad?"
Similar then. I
So,
don't remember that.
well, you did that also at the camp.
Just put
You
a
so
pad on.
yeah, you just told me to put one on, but, like, I remember not being sure on how to use those things, and, like I said, it was, like, the Saturday before, and we left on a Monday, so I had, like, Saturday and then the Sunday. I don't even think I necessarily told my mom truly what was
Mm.
happening. I don't remember, but I know that I was not prepared
Mm. I remember, yeah, you
for
had told me
camp,
afterwards.
um, and it being the first time, and it's different for everyone, but my cycle was really ruthless when I was younger, And when we were at this camp, I went up to you and I was just like, "Hey, like, I don't know what to do." And the reason I asked you that is because I didn't know how to put these pads on properly. And the night before, the first night, I had bled through my undergarments, the pad, the sleeping bag, the pad that was on the mattress. It was an entire mess.
Ladies and
And
gentlemen, she didn't even know that like it kept going in your sleep and in the shower. Like she thought it
yeah, I
just
thought
like
it stopped.
stopped. So she was
So it
very
was
innocent.
bad. It was bad. And I remember thinking, like, how do I get it to stop, sort of thing. And so I remember asking you, and you're like,
How
just
do
put a
I get
pad
it to
on.
stop?
Because I really did think that, like, when you got into the shower, it would stop. And
You're just like, I'm gonna
to
just stay in the shower for a week.
no, well, like, I think it was a shock to me, like, because in the shower for the men out there, um, like it's like you're in the shower and the water does make it temporarily like get lighter,
You don't see
but
it,
the
yeah.
moment you get out of the water, it is right there again. And I didn't know
Yeah.
that, so I was like getting ready, wasn't prepared, and I was like, wait, I'm not ready. But I
Oh
went to
yeah.
you and I asked you, and and you're like, just put a pad on, and I was just like,
Yeah, I didn't help you at
huh.
all.
And I
Yeah, I
remember
felt
being
so
miserable.
bad. Now I feel
And
so
then
bad.
that entire camp, like, I didn't know what cramps were. So like there's a group photo of everyone, you know, and it's a massive group of
You're like
people
this.
too. No, I was like in the front row, and you know me to be very outgoing and like cheese, like whatever it is. But I was literally like in the front row, like cowarding almost, just like cheese. Because I was like in so much pain and I didn't know what was happening. Um, it was a whole thing, and I remember you telling me ask my counselor, and my counselor was like, "Hmm?"
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's like that's not the right person to talk to you about it. Yeah, I know. I felt as a sister in that moment for sure.
It's okay. Like I
Um,
said, I don't even think I remember telling mom. I don't know if she even
yeah.
sent me with pads. So like I was like, what is happening?
Yeah. Um, I mean, I also tortured her a lot, just like
Yeah.
pranking and stuff. Like, we would, me and my cousin, we would dug a hole in the backyard, and filled it up with water. And then we like sprinkled dirt on the top so it looked legit like just flat earth. And then we're like, Jasmine, come here. And she came out in her little pigtails and like overalls. She's little,
And
right?
my
She's like,
new shoes.
and she's dancing around like, "Oh, hi, they want to play with me." And we're literally gonna prank her, and her foot just like goes deep into this hole with like mud and water, and she just like was crying with her new shoes. I know you're
My new
traumatized
shoes
if you
were
remember.
ruined. Ruined.
Yeah, so I was a really bad big sister. And we've said this before. I don't think we really got close until I moved out.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
it was really it was different. And I as I've gotten older, I'm just like, wow, like our relationship is an interesting one because not everyone's is like
yeah,
ours. A lot of people are closer when they're younger, and then they
yeah, no.
draw farther away when they get older or become adults, and I'm
Did you
like,
think that I
can't
hated you?
relate. Oh, 100%. Um
That's so
I mean,
messed
like,
up.
I always saw like mom and dad as one, right? A couple being as one. And so you were in a couple with Thomas, who, if you didn't listen to our last episodes, also hated me. And
He did
I
not
hated
hate
him
you.
just as much. But it was a matter of, oh, well, if he hates me, she probably hates me too. And I'm
I
like,
definitely was annoyed and like I said, I just
rightfully so.
literally roll my eyes at her all the time and I think a lot of it had to do with that we shared a room for so long and like we
Hmm.
never had space from each other. Like wake up, you're there. Go to sleep, you're there. And this gets me into my next point of like one of the things that annoyed me. Like, let's just bash on Jasmine this podcast episode.
Wow, these last two
But
episodes really have
I
catered
do
to
want your
you.
insight as to why you did this. You probably still do this, honestly. Um, it would grind my gears. My sister does this thing with movies, musicals, whatever she is like, whatever her flavor of the month is, probably like music is the same way. But I specifically remember movies. She would do this all the time. She would get stuck on one movie for like a month or two, and she would watch that movie every single day. But it doesn't stop there, folks. She'd find a scene or a part, a chapter on DVDs, you know, they have chapters. She'd find a chapter that she was obsessed with, and she would watch it over and over and over and over and over again until she could recite it and act it out from memory. And it
I can
annoyed
still
me
do that.
so much. Like I said, we shared a room. I could not escape. So it was Grease for 2 months straight.
Well, if you don't recall, I'm sure you don't. We didn't even have a TV in our room. We had to watch it in mom and dad's room. So I was watching Grease, not in our room, but in mom and dad's room. And you were in mom and dad's room
On the computer.
on the computer doing your own thing. And it sounds like a user problem to me. If you if you really didn't want to be there, you would just excuse yourself. There was no other TV, no other DVD player in the entire house. We lived in a smaller house at the time. But I am
So
a
why did
creature
you
of
do
habit.
that?
I just love putting things on repeat. Like, I still am that way to this day.
Oh,
Like, I will listen to
God.
a song and beat it over the head until I absolutely despise it. And I mean, the
What
same
was
thing
that
with
song that you were singing that you kept singing over and over and over again? And then one day Thomas like just started singing it because you just wouldn't stop. And he was like, oh God. What song was that?
like, it was a song from Victorious, and it was like, it starts on the piano, and then the whole chorus goes, so tell me that you love me. Tell me
What's so
that
good?
you take your breath away. But I would listen to that song over and over and over
Oof.
again.
Yeah.
And,
I
like,
just
we were
remember him
even
one day just like
we
started
were
singing it. And he's
already
like,
in
oh
a
gosh.
bigger house. We already were separated, like our rooms were separated. And Thomas started just like,
Yeah. And you
"You
heard
guys
it
used
too.
to
And you're
laugh
like,
at me."
aha. Gotcha.
And literally opened my door, and I was like,
Did you say
"What did
what
you
I
just
thought you
say?"
said? And he's like, nothing,
Yeah.
nothing happened.
I was like, so tell me that you love me. And I was like, all
It's
right then.
literally like she would listen to it over and over again. I don't know why you do that. And you don't get sick of
It's
it either.
it's just when I love something that much, or like when something is catchy, I think maybe that's what it is. When it's catchy or when it's funny, like I want it to be engraved in my memory.
And everybody else's memory too while you're at it.
Well, at the time, it was just everyone else's memory because you're in the immediate proximity of me. But now we have these things called headphones. So I could just do it to
That's
myself.
true. That's true. So wait, okay, so one I remember is Grease. There was a couple others that you would get obsessed over. Do you remember them off the
From
top of your
Justin
head?
to Kelly.
Oh yes. Oh my god. If you don't know what that movie is, Kelly Clarkson released a movie with the runner-up of the first season of American Idol. It's called
Justin
Justin
Guarini.
Kelly.
Put some respect on his name.
You probably sing the song that when she's in the bar that
When
she's
she's in
singing
the bar.
when he walks in and she's singing.
I'm gone, something waiting for your call, just to take a fall. I won't stand in
See,
line.
she knows. She's obsessed. She's gonna go watch that movie right
won't
now.
stand in a line. No, it was a great movie.
Thank you.
Thank you. And he goes.
So that's another one. Yeah, just from Justin to Kelly. Sisters Act, you got obsessed with that one for a
Sister
little
Act
bit.
2,
But I mean, it's a
specifically.
classic. Sisters Act 2 is a
Yes.
classic though, so I never got mad about that one.
Here I go on the microphone about to wreck it. You thought I'd be my MC kind of too much.
It's always musicals with you. From Justin to Kelly, Sisters Act 2, Grease.
I want bamboo.
What's another one that do you remember it? Oh, you used to like this movie with the ice skaters? Do you remember? It was ice, like the professional ice skaters. They did like
was it just like a recording of them?
No, they had like a movie of it, but it was like they were in the snow and it was like Raggedy Ann, and you would like try to do like the ice skating moves in our living room. Maybe you're too embarrassed for this.
I feel like I remember what it was. I feel like it was very blue toned. The
I don't know.
cover was blue toned, I think.
Scott Hamilton, is that his name? He was in that movie.
Shout out to Scott. Really? Scott, you the man. Really?
Let me see. I gotta look it up and see. Scott Hamilton, Raggedy Ann.
I remember. I just don't remember if there was music in there. They
The
were just doing.
the Snowgeddon, Raggedy Ann, and Andy holiday show. I don't know.
Oh my gosh,
She was
Lincoln.
obsessed with that one though.
Uh,
Oh yeah. So those were your obsessions back in the day. Almost, buddy. He keeps asking
just
if we're
a
almost
couple
done.
of my obsessions.
Do you have any others you want to talk about before we move on?
I mean, no, not that I need to add anything, but I guess just my reasoning of doing that is when I like something, I like something. And I don't see the harm in watching it over and 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 over again if it's not hurting anyone.
It's hurting me, Jasmine. It's hurting me.
Okay, well,
that's it from the Sispatch.
Oh my gosh, I know. And this is where this podcast comes to an end.
Okay, so I don't know if you have a question. I have another question.
Go ahead.
Okay, what is like, so like we were saying, we didn't really get along at all as growing up, but what is the first time that you're like, oh, like we actually share something, like we enjoy something together, or like we shared an interest? What was the first memory for you?
That's hard. That's difficult because I have no recollection of ever
Do you
being
have
like,
any
we both
positive
like
memories
it.
of me growing up? The silence is deafening.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
so
know if I do.
I'll think about it for a second.
Okay.
The moment that I was like, okay, and it probably was a little bit later on in our relationship, like our sisterhood. It wasn't when we were younger, because we literally, well, I guess when me, you, and our cousin Daniel would play in summers, those are probably like some of my favorite memories. Or like when we would go to our other cousins too, like Janelle, like the younger cousins. Like we would always play like spies or something, and that was always fun.
Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, but us and Daniel, we would always in the summertime, like because he would come visit in the summer, and we would just like play all day in the summer. Like it was fun. That was one of the good memories that I had of us when we were younger. Another like, but when I realized like, oh, we actually share a common interest is when we got into true crime. And like I'd be like messaging, it had to have been later on in our relationship when I had moved out and everything. But I'd message you like, are you following this case? And you'd be like, oh my gosh, yes. Or like, have you watched this documentary about JFK? And you're like, oh my gosh, yes.
Maybe that was where it was, because I remember not understanding the like whole like, why are you watching this JFK documentary? And then you're like, just sit down and watch it.
And watch it, and then you got sucked.
Sure. Oh my gosh. I was just like, I need to know
Who
more.
is the
like,
man on the grassy knoll?
The grassy knoll.
If you're a true crime or history fan, you already know the grassy knoll.
And maybe that's something also, is I'm also a history junkie. Like, yeah, I love
we
history.
both love history. So we would watch like history documentaries, or like just documentaries in general, like animal documentaries, or what is that one? The Whale Watchers. I think you got into that with me too. When we got cable, it was a game changer for us.
Do you remember when we first, like, because we didn't have cable? Again, maybe this is why I would always watch things over and over and over again, because we didn't have anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But like,
Mary-Kate and Ashley things.
Mary-Kate and Ashley.
That was our thing too. We love Mary-Kate and Ashley movies.
But I remember sitting down.
Holler.
I literally was passing a Del Taco the other day, and I was like, Mary-Kate and Ashley. I was like, maybe I should go to Del Taco. No, when Mom and Dad first brought up the idea of maybe getting cable, do you remember this conversation? We were at Fish and Chips.
I don't remember the conversation. I just remember like my mind, just like when we loaded it up, we're like, Disney Channel.
Well, the thing is,
mind you, I'm like 14 already, so like I'm already older, like, so I didn't really get into like, you know, people were already into like SpongeBob and stuff, but we didn't get into SpongeBob until we were like, I was in middle school, so it was kind of already like the fad had already passed.
So there's actually multiple facets to that too. We didn't have like actual cable TV, but like our aunt would like get, I don't know if you've got it one, but she got me like the Video Now color, and I would watch the same SpongeBob episodes because it's only like a disc over and over and over again. And that's like
It's
the
cable?
ones. Yeah, it's cable, close enough. I didn't have it, so I might as well watch it on my Video Now player. But shout out to anyone who knows what Video Now is. But
also, like, that probably is why you listen to things over and over again, like Video Now, and then what is the other one, the little small one with the music discs?
The little boombox players.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know what they're called.
That was our cousins, and she like let
Oh,
us borrow
she
it,
had
and it had like
all of the
Britney
songs.
Spears, like NSYNC and Backstreet
Yeah.
Boys. But when we were at Fish and Chips with parents, and they're like, "Do you think you want cable?" And when you and I didn't know how it worked, we're like, "Yes." So we came up with a list of channels that we wanted. So we thought it was going to be cheaper because we were like, "Only buy
We
these
just need these,
channels."
yeah.
Yeah, and it was like Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and the Animal Planet.
Discovery Channel.
No,
Discovery
it was
Channel.
like Discovery Channel and Animal Planet, and it's because we wanted to watch Steve Irwin.
Oh, R.I.P. Steve.
The man.
Gone too soon.
But I remember having that conversation, and mom and dad was like, "That's not how it works."
We
Like,
literally lived off of PBS.
Like, you did. PBS. PBS, it's a Sagwa, the Chinese cat, Arthur,
Zaboomafoo.
postcards from Buster, Zoom, all of them.
Yeah, so good. Okay. Yeah, so that was like Zoom was probably like one of the other ones that we really got into together because like it was like science and like
come on
doing
and Zoom,
stuff.
come on and Zoom, come on and Zoom. Zooma, 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 zoom, zoom.
Did you have any other questions?
No, but the question that you said first was, do I have any memories of things
Like
that we
good
enjoyed?
memories. Yeah.
Enjoyed together. There's one that came to mind is when we go to like these conventions with our parents, and you and I loved swimming. Maybe it was just me.
I was just
but
literally you said that one. I was just thinking that was like one of the best days of our siblinghood.
yeah, it's just when we go swimming. And there's multiple, maybe that if we're looking at like the early memories that were good, so we sound horrible when we do that, but like we would go to these conventions, mom and dad.
We'd be in the pool all afternoon.
All afternoon till we get like dark burnt. Like it was it, and I remember there's pictures of us where we were having the time of our life. We'd be baptizing each other in the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, like in the pool, and then like going to the next day and be like, "Can we go swimming again?" And I'm sure our parents were probably like,
No, like dad actually loved it. He would just like let us go out there, and then we got to an age where like they didn't even have to go out there and watch us, and like we're like, fine, like we'll just go swimming then.
Do you remember when we swam in the rain at like a women's
that
conference?
was the memory. Yes, swimming in the rain, and then we got those little like ravioli things after we were really starving. Dad let us go choose something out from like the like concierge or whatever. And that's what we chose was like the microwavable raviolis,
like
and
the
like
Chef Boyardee.
It was raining. We went swimming. We were starving. We ate the Chef Boyardee raviolis, and then we watched a documentary about JFK and the grassy knoll.
We did.
That was the first time I think that we were like, but
wait, you're
kind
of cool.
Part 2? Are you telling me he's really gone?
I know, and I think with these true crime things, like when I was younger, I really didn't understand. I was just like, so you're telling me there's no happy ending?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What is happening?
Exactly.
And then you're like, no, that's what history is. And I was just like, what's history?
Huh? Like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I do remember. I vividly remember us swimming in the rain and like it being overcast and like
jumping in the pool.
The pool was heated, so it was just like so much fun. And mom and dad let us too. They didn't even care. Yeah,
yeah, we were the only ones in the pool. I love swimming. Let's go swimming.
Me too. I know, right? Okay. No. Almost, buddy.
Almost.
It's like the new. Are we there yet? Are you almost done?
I know.
Okay, I have a question for you. Who was the bossier sister growing up?
You, but then I want to say maybe it was me.
You probably thought I was bossy because I would tell you like, don't go in my room, don't touch my stuff kind of thing. But you were the bossy one of the whole family, and like, God forbid if somebody told you no, that was it. Jasmine rage was happening.
So there was something that I wrote down actually, and it was about Baby the cat.
Oh, yes.
And it wasn't
Baby
like
the cat.
Baby the cat. So we lived and there was a stray cat. As an adult now, I'm going to preface this. This was a stray cat. We didn't purchase this cat or adopt
we
this
just found him on the street and started feeding him.
No, he found us. And it was this black cat named Baby. and we didn't have any other things to call it other than baby. And one day I thought it would be a really smart and cool idea because I really wanted to adopt this cat and make him my cat. To bring him inside. And I'm calling baby a him right now, but I actually don't
know. I was just about to say, how did we know it was a male cat?
But I remember bringing baby inside and like thinking, because I also at the time really young, used to think I could talk to cats. So like, I was just
this
like,
was in your cat ears phase.
Yes,
she was a furry for a hot second.
Yeah. But like there was times where I would like walk outside and there'd be like 4 or 5 cats just sitting at like the edge of the stairs, and they'd all sit there like it was church, and I was sitting there going meow meow,
a legit furry, guys.
And like just waiting for them to respond, and they'd respond. I'm like, oh my god, they'd know what I'm saying. So I remember thinking, I'm gonna bring baby in, and I was like, just stay quiet, like it's fine, like they're gonna like that you're here sort of vibes. And my sister came out and she was like, what are you doing? And I was like,
I remember I saw you
baby inside.
I saw you. We had bunk beds. She was on the bunk bed holding the cat like this. I'm standing in the doorway. I'm like, oh, you're gonna be in trouble.
Maybe this was the stage of you're like, I will do whatever it takes to get her in trouble, and she's just making it easy at this point.
Yep. No, immediately told grandma, get that cat outside.
Yeah, she's all, you said, Grandma, Jasmine brought
what
baby
in the world
inside.
You think you're doing?
Yeah.
Get that
and
cat
so I had
outside.
to put baby outside, and then I had to wash my hands. And then then there was an orange cat who had babies and we really wanted it, but then they had worms, so we couldn't keep them. It was awful. What a sad life we had.
I was just about to say, which one of you got into more trouble as a kid? You,
me,
for sure.
Me.
Yeah.
Me. And I'd like to, at the time, think that it was your fault for most of them, but it is definitely my fault for all of them. So
yeah. And that's another thing another question I had was, who had the weirdest phase growing up? That was you, your furry phase.
It's not weird, okay? It is not weird.
She would wear these cat ears.
And you know what? I made it a thing before. I made it a thing before Ariana Grande made it a thing. So let's just say that I was a trendsetter.
And it was my cat ears, and I was like, these are not it. And I just like tossed them, and she found them like on the bottom of the closet and like adopted them as her whole personality for like a year.
Yep. I mean, like I said, I am a trendsetter in that way. She got it from me. We're just gonna say that.
Ay.
But for anyone that ever questions, I wore cat ears first, not Ariana Grande. Yeah. Good times. I really did think that. And now, like, as an adult, I'm just like, I don't want cats. Like, I want a dog. Cats are scary.
Did you have any questions? Otherwise, we can just move. Go ahead.
I didn't have a question, but I did write something down before of a memory that I had with you. And this is later on in life. After the house was remodeled. I remember, because like I said, I used to think that you do whatever you want. You could do whatever you want, right? You knocked on my door in the middle of the night, and it was pitch black outside, and you said, you went, do you want to come with me to the kitchen? I was like, why? Why do you need me to go to the kitchen? And you're like,
afraid of the dark.
You said, I want to make top ramen. And I was just like, and you need me to make top ramen for you? And at the time you were like, no, but who made the top ramen? It was me. But it was because
cooking
we had this,
even top ramen. Yep.
We had this massive sliding door that doesn't have any
glass sliding door, and yeah, I was gonna say that's why we watch way too many murder docs. And the sliding door is huge. It's like a whole wall for the most part. And it goes out into the backyard. Our backyard was pretty big and very dark. We didn't have any lights on the outside. So it's just like endless darkness. And I'm like, and there's a park that is behind our house. So it's like somebody could be just like waiting, watching me or anything. And so
I got that from you because I didn't think about it until you told me. And then whenever I'm at parents' house now, I'm just like,
No, yeah. So I I still am. Like, if I think about it too hard, I'm very scared of the dark. If I think about it
Yep.
too hard, I like, even like when I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night sometimes, I'm like,
Oh,
there's somebody in my
same.
bathtub waiting for me with a knife, or like,
Well, even
go ahead.
when we're at parents' house, when I'm at mom and dad's house now, like that part of the house is actually terrifying because it's really, really like
It's like
secluded from
disconnected,
everyone.
yeah.
And like the house is not a quiet house. It's a newer build because it wasn't we really remodeled it from the ground up, but like the house still creaks and like the
Mhm.
rooms are really, close to the garage, so like there's like
Mhm.
the water heater and like all
Yeah,
this
like taps
noise.
and all, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why our parents do this, but they just love to not cover the windows. And so like the hallway with that sliding door and
You just
even
run past it really fast.
yeah, but even your old room, like, because it's not really being used too much, they leave the the blinds
The
open,
shades up.
and so when I open the door from my room and it's right
It's
across
just
from
dark
yours,
in there.
it's just dark, and I'm like, "They can see me," like,
Ugh.
it's terrifying.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want to be scared of the dark, then don't listen to murder docs.
Yep.
It's scary. People are
And you know
crazy.
what? Maybe we got that fascination from our mom who was watching America's Most Wanted when we didn't
True,
have cable.
Dad had to cut her off because he's like, this is
I used to get
creepy.
nightmares. I used to get
Maybe that's
nightmares
why.
because I was
Your
thinking
fault
about it
again.
so much.
Your fault
My
again
fault.
that we couldn't watch murder docs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, good times,
Sorry, I
man.
think there's
Yeah,
a
definitely afraid of
lawnmower
the
outside.
dark. Definitely afraid of the dark. Also
Yep.
didn't like to make my own ramen.
Yep.
I'd make my grandma make me ramen when I was a full-grown
She
married
made the
woman.
best ramen.
I don't know what she did. Like, I don't know if she put the noodles in, like, with the seasoning already in the boiling water, or like, I don't
I don't
know, but
know.
it just tasted so good whenever she
I
made it.
know.
Extra salt, probably.
I know.
Okay, you want to end this podcast with some rapid fire questions, and the way that this is going
Yes.
to work is I'm going to ask you a question, and then, or I'm going to say a question and then we both answer it. Can you
Okay.
hear my dog? He's outside barking. I'm so
I can.
sorry.
It's a crazy day today. There's so much going on.
Hold on 1 second.
Thanks for staying with us folks through this crazy podcast today. But I've enjoyed it so far. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I have too. It's a good one. Okay, so rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Did you want to answer first, or you want me to answer first?
I'll answer first and then you answer.
Okay. What is her go-to comfort food?
My go-to comfort food?
No, mine. You have to guess mine.
Oh,
That's how you right or wrong.
your go-to comfort food is mm, spam fried rice.
Wrong.
Wait, so what's your answer?
Kenny dog.
Okay.
Adobo,
I was
yeah.
about to say adobo, but I was like, no, that's me.
No, I was gonna say your go-to right now is bibimbap because you went on a
Right
whole
now.
spiel about it.
I did.
Okay. I'm gonna. Okay, next one. You still want to go first every time?
Yeah, so I'm answering for you.
Yes.
Okay.
And she is me. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah,
If
I
she
got you.
could, if she could only watch one TV show for the rest of her life, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea because you watch so many TV shows. For the rest of your life?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I don't and my answer's wrong, but I'm just gonna
She
say
might not know.
psych.
Ooh, that's a good, that's a good guess. Yeah, I didn't even think about that one, but
it's like all of the things and
yeah,
one.
no, that one's really a really good guess. But the first one that came to my mind was The Office.
Okay.
But
I
no,
have never
Psych
gotten into
is
The
really
Office.
good. And you're right, Psych is a lot of like everything that I love, like murder mystery,
Comedy.
comedy. Yeah. Oh, that's actually a really good one. Suspense.
Yay me.
Yeah. Okay, for you, that's a hard one. You also watch a lot of TV shows. If I had to guess one, I would say I don't know. Like I was gonna say Joe Kenda, his show, but I was like, that's too deep. Like, you don't want that all in your life all the time. You need some levity. So, I
I
don't
don't even
know.
know if I know the answer to this, but I
Oh,
have
okay.
multiple that I could like rapid fire out.
What was like the first two that you thought of?
How I Met Your Mother.
Ooh, I didn't know you watched that show.
Yeah, I finished it. It's a great show. I put it on when I need something in the background. But it's just
And what
not
other
as
one?
intense as Joe Kenda.
Yeah. No, How I
Full
Met Your
Circle
Mother is
Moment.
another good one.
Mm.
What about you? What's the
No,
second one?
Joe Kenda.
Oh, Joe Kenda. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Kenda is a little more intense. Okay, next
There's
one.
two kinds of people.
This one, if you don't get this one right,
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be an awful sister, aren't I?
which celebrity would she most like to meet?
Would you like most to meet? Taylor Swift.
I was gonna say, if you don't get this right, Jasmine, we're no
I was
longer
like,
sisters.
the first thing that I thought of was like, who is her celebrity crush? I'm like, she doesn't have a celebrity crush. So I was trying to think like, who does she used to like? I have no idea. And I was like, oh wait, Taylor Swift.
What about you? I was gonna guess Ariana for you,
I would say
but
so.
yeah,
I
just
think
because you like to
so.
pick her brain.
Yeah, and I think one of those things is like when people ask me who my favorite artist is, like that's the person that comes to mind first. She has a lot of influence on like my vocal or the kind of music that I like, but I'm just like, but do I want to meet her? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know.
Be like, I don't know.
Okay, next one. Biggest pet peeve.
For
Mine for
you,
you is being told that you're wrong. It's your biggest pet peeve.
it's a
It's
big one.
true. It's
I have a
true.
lot of
That's
pet
why.
peeves though. I think your pet peeve
Mine is also
is
being told that I'm wrong.
we are sisters. No, but I think like there's a multitude for me and you probably, but I mean, I think no one likes to be told that they're wrong ever. Period. But I
Mm.
actually don't like it when people here's a ramble really quick. I don't like people reach over me. I don't like when people stand behind me when I'm
You don't
sitting.
like when dad flicks your head?
No.
He does that all the time. It would make me so mad. Especially he would do it when he knows that we're in a bad mood. Just to torment us. He'd flick us in the head and we're like, get out.
No, it's not. Maybe this is not a pet peeve, but like when grandma would like slap our butts when we're like walking around in the kitchen, we're like, for what? What is? It's not warranted. Like, what's happening?
That's
She
funny.
would just be like, "Get out of my way."
She'd hip check you.
Yeah, and she was the bigger one.
Do you have any others you can think of? I have other questions. That's why. So I'm just
Go
trying to
for
move
it.
these.
Go for it.
Okay. What is one thing she's really bad at?
My sister is really bad at dancing.
So bad. And it's so crazy because I can play the drums. I have rhythm. I just suck at dancing.
It's
so
like your
bad.
hand-eye is not good in that way.
I think it was Joey that told me like which kind of Filipino are you? Are you the one that can like really dance, or are you the one that like you're a pretty good singer? I was like, oh, I'm definitely the singer kind of Filipino, not the dance one at all. But on the dance note, have you ever seen mom dance before? Like seriously dance? No, because I got the dancing gene from mom.
She
Think
does like
about
the
it.
side to side pretty good.
She goes like this. She does the Filipino.
Yeah.
That's mom. That's my dance move. That's it. That's it. I really, growing up, it was an insecurity too. Because I had Filipino friends that could like really dance really well. And I had to like get over the hump of like just not caring and having a good time because I'm not gonna good dancer. I'm not gonna look sexy dancing. It's not gonna look cute. Like, but you want to have a good time when you're at a party. So I just had to like get over it.
Yeah.
Embrace
Well,
the
I mean, like,
awkwardness.
we had a lot of like at our church, like there was a lot of like specials that we had to do that involved dancing.
I cringe thinking about how they made me dance.
Well, we're gonna have to find those one day, and then we're gonna bring them
Don't,
up. Maybe put that a
please
YouTube
do
special.
not. Okay, one thing you're really bad at is you're gonna hate me for it because you think you're really good at it. being funny.
I will disagree with you there. I think
being
I'm funny.
honest. Okay, no, you're funny, but like when you're
I'm not
trying
wanting
to be funny, when you're trying to be funny, like I'm just like, oh my god, please.
It's because you're embarrassed of me, but that's everyone. You know, Brandon and Tiffany will probably back you up on that. They're just like, yeah,
you're funny when you're just
funny.
yourself, but like when you're trying too hard, it's just like, please stop. It's so not funny.
I try so hard.
Now she's mad at me.
No.
Favorite subject
I'm gonna call
in
you
school?
after this podcast. Oh, history.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh no, or
history.
choir.
Well, that's like an elective though, but like subject,
Okay.
definitely history.
Okay. I'll take it.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm reading these. Do you remember first job?
My first job or your first job?
Your
first job was at Hollister.
Yes, Hollister Co. And yours was at a local sushi place.
It wasn't even like a real job. It was
They're
like,
just
you want to come and work for us?
Just a couple hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my first job.
If she won the lottery, what's the first thing she would buy? I think it's the same for both of us. A house.
You already have a house.
I want a better house.
Honestly, if I won the lottery, the first thing I would do is pay off my credit card bills.
Ooh, girl. Sharing the cheese, man.
Would you not do the same?
Okay, next one. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, no, I cannot.
I know this one's hard. Yours, I would say. Okay, all time though? Like if you had to watch one movie, I guess going back to like the TV show, like if you had to watch one movie, like you only had one movie you could watch for the rest of your life, I would say yours would be Grease. No? What would it be?
It would probably be more along the lines of Sister Act 2.
That's a good one because it's funny.
Yeah, I think Grease is funny, but it's also like it's a classic in the way that yeah. For you, I don't know. One movie that you would always watch over and over again. Land Before Time by Aunt Bambi.
Nope.
Hercules? Nope. I don't know. I have no idea.
I feel like it's probably gonna be like Rush Hour 3.
Oh, you're a Rush Hour fan?
I love Rush Hour. However, I haven't watched it in a long time, but it's just one of those things that like if it's on, like I'll watch it. Jackie Chan, classic.
Yeah. No, I had no idea.
Next. Okay. One more.
Okay.
What is the one item in her wardrobe that she should definitely throw out? This one's actually hard because I'm like, what is in your wardrobe?
Yeah.
I would just say like one of those like really puffy sweaters that you wear that like do no help with like, because you're a petite gal as far as like height goes, like, but sometimes some of your jackets, they just make you look even shorter than you are.
There's not much clothes that make me look tall, so you're not wrong.
Anything that you're just like, why is she wearing that?
Your headbands. I don't like your headbands.
That's fair.
I love
turntables.
No, I think you look great in the headbands, but like
it's just a lot.
There's just some of them questionably where I'm just like, I don't understand. Why do you look like a unicorn that got its horn cut off?
I gotta wear my crown. Do you have anything that you can think of? Any quick questions?
No, I think those are pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, I don't want to drag it out too long. I think we pretty much hit everything that we wanted to. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I don't think so. If you have a sibling, reach out to them today. Tell them,
I love you. We never say that.
We don't.
Maybe in text. It's like, love you, sis. You too.
No, it's like after a deep conversation, we'll be like,
Thanks for that.
Sis.
Yeah. Miss you.
That's it.
I'm gonna leave you with one more annoying. I have one more annoying thing that my sister grinds my gears about while I remember this. She has this really bad habit. I've told her about it too. I told her I hate it when she does this, where she'll text me and she's like, "Hi." And I'm just like, "What?" Like, tell me what you want, what
Like,
you
there's
need, or
something
like what's wrong. She does that all the time. "Hi, what are you doing?" Or something like that. I'm just like, just get to the point. I hate it. I mean, it's not just her. If anyone does that, I hate it. Like, just to get to the point already. That's all.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. I don't
my
have any rebuttals to that.
my positive, we're gonna end on a positive note, okay? Um, I just want to say that if you have a sibling and you're younger and you don't get along and you're like, when are we gonna like actually get along? Just be patient. As long as you guys like have some common ground on something, just be patient, especially if you're younger and you live in the same house and if you share a bedroom, like things will get better. Just be patient. Give each other
Eventually.
space. Give each other space. Try to respect that space as much as you can. And yeah, you'll get older. Hopefully, you guys will get along better. Do you have any other words of advice as a sister or sibling?
I think it's the same thing, you know, if you're not getting along at a particular moment in time, like there's going to be a time where you will, hopefully. And I think the most important thing is to understand when your sibling needs space and time, but also understand that they're your sibling and they're not going away. Like they're just going
Mm-hmm.
to be your sibling. And that's not something to be taken lightly. So you can give them space and you can give them love from afar. You can let them do whatever they want to do and not be like, as from a younger sibling looking up to my older sister being like, I want you everywhere that I'm going. You were my best friend when I was younger. So it was like I didn't have anyone else at the time, but then
Mm-hmm.
growing up I had to understand, like, you got to let her live, got to let you do your thing, got to let you fall in love with a guy named Thomas and I guess he's all right or whatever, but like, you know.
Debatable.
Debatable.
Okay, so if you guys have any suggestions on topics you'd like us to cover or questions you have for us, can leave them in the comments on Spotify or on YouTube.
Yes.
Otherwise,
That is all.
that's
Thank you for watching the Sispatch with
Bevin
and Jasmine.
Wah, 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 wah.
Bye.
Bye.